Welcome to the Dynavision Data Bank. From now onwards, your television set will remain connected to our circuits. Requested information. How is a human being formed? Your request is being processed by our central computer. We are entering the biology files.
Reproduction is the means whereby all living beings create other individuals which are similar to themselves in order to perpetuate the species. Humans reproduce themselves in a sexual way. This means that before another human being is born, it's first necessary for a female reproductive cell, called an ovum, to unite with a male reproductive cell, called a spermatozoon. Cells are produced in the reproductive organs which men and women have. The male reproductive cells, or spermatozoa, are made by the testicles, and they are preserved in a liquid called semen, produced in the seminal vesicles. The different conduits connect the testicles to the penis, the organ through which the spermatozoa are released from the body. Female reproductive cells are produced by the ovaries, which are situated in the stomach area. Ovaries produce an ovum every 28 days, and once it's developed sufficiently, it separates itself from them and proceeds along the fallopian tube on its way to the uterus.
Fertilization.
The human race has a system of internal fertilization, which means it's necessary for the male to place a spermatozoa inside the woman's body, so they can find the ovum which is traveling along the fallopian tube. Hundreds of millions of spermatozoa deposited in the vagina during sexual intercourse travel upward towards the uterus and the fallopian tubes in a journey which can take between 12 and 24 hours. If they find an ovum, then one and only one spermatozoon unites with it, so producing fertilization. The single spermatozoon penetrates the ovum's membrane, losing its tail, and the nuclei of the ovum and spermatozoon unite together. At the same time as it moves along the fallopian tube towards the uterus where it will install itself, the fertilized cell starts to divide itself. This is how fertilized cells of mammals divide themselves. From this process of cellular division will emerge the embryo, which will continue to develop itself until it becomes a new human being.
Development.
When it's 4 weeks old, the embryo will measure 4 millimeters. At that time, it will start to form its arms and legs. Its heart starts beating, and a primitive blood circulation network is established. This is also when kidneys and genetic crests are formed. The embryo measures some 4 millimeters. That's to say, about the size of a grain of wheat. The placenta connects to the embryo by 2 arteries and a vein running through the umbilical cord, which to begin with is transparent. At the age of 5 weeks, the pancreas is formed and muscles start to develop. At 7 weeks, the embryo measures 2 centimeters long, and we can see its retina and the outline of its hands and fingers. At 8 weeks, its stomach starts to segregate gastric juices. It also now has phalanges, and we can start to discern its nose and mouth. From the age of 10 weeks, the embryo is called fetus. It can now move very slightly, and the sound of its heartbeat can be heard using ultrasonic waves. At 11 weeks, its vagina or penis will form itself. And at the age of 12 weeks, the fetus weighs about 2/3 of an ounce, or about the weight of a letter. During the 3rd month of development, the neurons which will make up its future nervous system begin organizing themselves. The fetus is united to the placenta by its umbilical cord, through which it receives oxygen from its mother's bloodstream and eliminates its own waste. The fetus floats in what's called the amniotic fluid and receives half a pint of blood per minute through the umbilical cord. The placenta allows antibodies to pass through it. Unfortunately, however, it also allows the passage of harmful elements such as nicotine, alcohol, and viruses, which can seriously affect the fetus's growth. During the 3rd month, eyelashes and nails appear, and we can see that the fetus now has fingerprints. At 17 weeks, we can clearly make out the spinal column of the fetus, which will now measure approximately 10 inches long. From now onwards, the mother will be able to feel the movements of her child as it tends to assume a head-down position. Week 23. Practically all of its organs are now formed, and all it has to do now is grow. This is also the best week to study the baby's heart. As the fetus develops, so the size of the mother's stomach increases accordingly. From now on, and up until the time it's born, it will rapidly gain size and weight. Acting upon impulses received from its nervous system, the fetus will abruptly change its position to one where its head will be upright. Before birth, however, it has to change once more to a head downwards position in preparation for birth. The fetus now grows very quickly indeed, and it's fed by its mother through the umbilical cord, which is now much thicker than during the first weeks of pregnancy. Meanwhile, the fetus is returned to its head downwards position. We can even clearly make out the features of the soon-to-be-born child through the amniotic membrane. Normally, during the last days of its growth, 9 months after it was conceived, the baby will go about preparing itself for birth by positioning its head in the mother's pelvis. When this happens, then birth is about to take place.
Birth.
Nine months after the ovule has been fertilized by the spermatozoon, the child is born, thereby ending its period of gestation and terminating the mother's pregnancy. The fetus passes through the neck of the uterus, which has been previously dilated by a series of contractions, and emerges from the mother's body. Birth itself can last from 15 minutes to an hour, and after the birth of the child, the placenta is expelled by the mother. Once the child has been born, the umbilical cord is cut, thereby severing the close relationship which existed between a mother and her unborn child for nearly a year. Our navels are the marks left behind by the umbilical cord when it was cut. Now, the child has to breathe for itself for the very first time, something which requires a tremendous effort, since at the moment of birth, the baby's lungs are collapsed and full of amniotic fluid, and it has to fill them with air. Normally, the fetus will position itself just before birth in the head downwards position. However, in approximately 1 in every 30 births, the fetus doesn't turn itself into the correct position and emerges with its head upwards towards the mother's womb. In this breech birth, as it's known, the doctor has to help the fetus at birth in order to avoid complications.
Summary.
Fertilization is the internal process whereby a male spermatozoon joins with a female ovum inside the woman's body. The fertilized cell starts to divide, later fixing itself to the wall of the uterus, where growth of the embryo will take place. In the womb, the embryo will go about developing its different systems and organs as it's being fed through the umbilical cord until it has reached a stage of complete development. At that moment, it prepares itself for birth by placing itself head down towards the mother's pelvis. After birth, the umbilical cord is cut and the baby starts to breathe for itself for the very first time.
The DynaVision Data Bank hopes you have found the requested information interesting. End of transmission.